How's it going, everybody? It's been a while since I've made a video, and I have some free time now, finally. So let's talk about the last 6 films that I've seen in the theater, the last 22 films that I've seen up until this point. We're going to be talking about the Banshees of Inisherin, Triangle of Sadness, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Tar, The Menu, and Violent Night. I also saw the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, but I'll save that for another time, maybe. But these are just the films. That was more of a special. So let's talk about The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonagh. This is my first Martin McDonagh film. A lot of people pointed out that I didn't see In Bruges. And I know I haven't seen In Bruges. And I'm pretty sure I'd enjoy this film a lot more if I had seen In Bruges. But I still really enjoyed this film. It is about two best friends who live on this island. And there really is nothing to do all day except like do their work and drink. And one of the best friends, played by Brendan Gleeson, doesn't want to be friends with the other friend, played by Colin Farrell. And he's trying to figure out why he doesn't want to be his best friend anymore. And I will say this is a very darkly humorous film. There's I don't want to spend so much time on each of these movies because I wanted to talk about them and give them enough time, though. But there really isn't a whole lot for me to say on this film, except that it looks really sharp. I like the directing, and I like the framing of a lot of scenes. And there's a lot of B-roll of like animals that explain what's going on with the two friends and how they're like departing away, or how they're kind of growing closer together. And there's a few moments that I found kind of touching about this film. It's about life and purpose and how you want to live life and struggling to find said purpose in life. You know, wasting your time and being kind and, you know, a passion that you have and how you want to go through with it. It's something these two characters struggle with. One of them wants to do something more in life. One of them wants to make a purpose in life. The other one just wants to enjoy life and enjoy being with other people. And there's a moment where I did kind of tear up a little because I kind of touched with it. I kind of connected with it. I won't say what it is, but I really enjoyed that scene. It was my favorite scene of the film. Other than that, this film is just fucking hysterical. It is downright funny as hell. There are so many moments where the entire theater just burst out laughing, and it's really funny. There's a couple pieces of music in the film that are really damn good. There's one specific piece that gets played a lot, and although as good as it was, I thought it was overplayed just a tad at points. The acting is great all around. Every single member gives off a great performance, and that's really all I can say about this film without spoiling and going super in depth about it. I wasn't sure what to expect going in it, but I was still pleasantly surprised that I saw a film that everyone was, you know, going on about, and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give The Banshees of Inisherin an A-. It is just really damn good. It's one of my favorites of the year. It looks great. The filmmaking, the production, it looks so fantastic. All the sets, the color palette, the directing, the framing, the lighting, it all looks great. Everything about this film, production-wise, is top-notch. And I still really enjoyed it. I connected with it. It was funny as hell. And yeah, that's really all I can say about it if I don't want to, you know, go super depth into spoilers and whatever. After that, I watched Triangle of Sadness, directed by Ruben Östlund. I have not seen a single film from this director. And how do I really explain the plot of this film? Because it's a lot of stories happening, not like a Pulp Fiction sort of deal. There's just, it's divided into 3 sections. The first section is about a couple. The second section is about the boat, which most of the film trailers are about. and the third section is about an island. Um, if I can try to describe this film in a plot to someone who hasn't seen it, it's just about discovering a bunch of rich assholes on a boat, and the boat's going to sink. That's the most I can really describe that film without spoiling a lot about it. Um, this was a very funny film. I laughed quite a bit. I think it looks great. The production's great. Everything production-wise about this film is great. I feel myself saying that a lot about a lot of movies this year, but it's just that this isn't like a regular comedy for everyone. This is something specific and has a lot of care put into it. So the acting's good all around. Um, the story I felt was a little jumbled at points because there's so much happening in these three specific stories, and it feels like you're watching three different movies. My favorite being The Boat. The first one's about a relationship and gender roles. The second one is about a bunch of rich assholes on a boat, and they all kind of get a lesson learned to them about being rich assholes, and we see how their minds work. And it's about a lot of politics and stuff. And the third one's about survival and like a chain of a hierarchy, a shift in hierarchy as the settings change. And damn, it's such a weird film to talk about too because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I just didn't like how it felt like I was watching three entirely different films. But I did enjoy it overall. I'm looking at my Letterboxd real quick and see if there's something I might have said in here. Let's say this. The most important aspect to this film is the take on social classes and how money and power change and motivates people. I guess that's really it. I mean, I don't want to. Yet again, I don't want to spoil this film. I don't want to take too much time away from me talking about other films. I'll just say that it's not a comedy for everybody. It's not a film for everybody. But there is a lot to get out of it. It is a well-made film. It's a well-directed film. It's a well-acted film. I just had minor issues with the story, the pacing, how it felt like three different films, and how certain aspects don't get carried on. Like the relationship aspect and like the gender norms, that only really stays in the first story. The aspects of money and power and rich assholes and the hierarchy of that is what carries a film from the second to the third act. Also, I'll say if you've seen the trailer, there's a lot of like vomiting and throwing up and stuff. However they pulled that off, it was great, funny as hell. Not like disgusting. I mean, like I was able to watch it and stomach myself. I was drinking a Slurpee for God's sake, but it wasn't something that made me like want to leave the theater. I can see people being disgusted by it because there are a lot of weird, disgusting moments in it, but it wasn't like, to me personally, it wasn't disgusting. I found it more enjoyable, and that was what it was going for. To see these rich assholes, like, because they're not good people, and like most of these people, like that the shit happens to, they're not good people in the film. So seeing that stuff happen to them was rather kind of funny. Not much for you to say on it other than that. I enjoyed it. I really did, and the production of it made me enjoy the film a lot more. Also, actually, there is something that I kind of didn't really like about the film. The way it ended, I know what it was going for, but it just felt like there could have been like maybe an extra 30 seconds or something. The way it just ended, the last shot it ended on, like I get the implication of what was going to happen. It just felt like, oh, it's over now? Okay, cool, bye. So yeah, I enjoyed this film. I recommend it if you want to watch a weird comedy. So I'm gonna give this film a B+. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to watching it again at some point, but I'm not gonna rush to it. I really liked it. It was one of the films I was looking forward to. I believe it won the Palme d'Or this year at Cannes Film Festival. I can see why. It was just really good. The next film on our list is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, this was a film that was I didn't know what to expect because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman and how he can't be T'Challa in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. And there was a part of me that would have wanted the story to continue with someone recast as T'Challa, because that was a small part of me that wanted that, because I'm pretty sure whatever story they might have come up with would have been great otherwise. But I understand that Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, as Black Panther, meant so much to people that they couldn't see anyone else in that role. So I was okay with this seemingly almost impossible task to write a story about how he goes in the actual film, how there's no T'Challa in the movie, and how people have to deal with that and grieve about it. And I'll say this, the acting all around is great, especially in the scenes where they're talking about missing T'Challa. Everyone is saying that Angela Bassett gives an Oscar-worthy performance, and I thought she did a good job. But, like, Oscar-worthy, I don't know. But she did a really good job for what she was told to do. All the acting all around is great, though. But in terms of a plot for this film, while the characters in Wakanda are grieving for T'Challa, somewhat of a villain arrives, Namor, who leads a society of like sea people underwater, and their livelihood is being threatened because they also have a piece of vibranium with them, like a big chunk of vibranium that people are trying to mine for, since they can't get the vibranium in Wakanda. So there's some forces that are clashing there, and that's all I really want to say about it in terms of the plot. What did I like about this film? The action's good. The action's enjoyable. I felt like the first couple of action set pieces were a little too shaky cam for my like. But they get more enjoyable over time. And especially when they introduce Ironheart. That's not a spoiler because she's in the trailers. I like the character of Riri Williams. I just wish... It's funny because like what progresses the film at the end of the first act is a conflict with Riri. And it feels like that conflict just kind of wasn't there after a while. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. The pacing of the film is definitely weird, and the editing of the film is definitely weird too. The editing and pacing is a little weird. The first shot of the film I really like because it's a oneer, and you really feel in the place of the characters because something's happening, and you're in the headspace of the characters in this oneer because you don't have time to think about an editing choice. You're just there while this specific conflict is there. And I really like that. And then the editing gets a little more weirder over the course of the film, where cameras are revolving around characters, and when it cuts back to other characters, it doesn't seem right. I can relate it to the scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League when the Justice League members, minus Superman, are thinking about reviving Superman. The camera's spinning around them as if to feel like they're in the same room. Something that the Justice League film did terribly, with just 2 or 3 characters sitting in a frame, acting like they're talking to people when they most likely weren't. But just the time when the cameras were moving and the editing was happening just felt a little off in those scenes. There's a weird conflict about like, hey, the states think something happened and Wakanda is responsible for it, yada yada. So Agent Ross is there. He's like, you guys got to do something to prove that you guys didn't do this thing. And nothing ever happens from that. I just felt like Ross should have been there to tell them, hey, Riri built this machine that helped us find vibranium. and that's all he should have been there for, because the conflict between the states and the rest of Wakanda and whatever is almost non-existent after that. Um, Let me just look at my Letterbox real quick, because I reviewed this on Letterbox when I saw the film opening weekend, um, to see if there's other things. Namor, I liked him as a character. I liked him as a threat, but his motivation seemed a little strange, a little weak, and I certainly cared for the character. I just didn't really connect on an emotional level with the character. It was a little, it just wasn't all there for me. I'll say that. I really liked the actor who portrayed him, and I really liked the character, but his backstory just felt a little too long. And at the end of it, it was, so that's why we must kill the scientist who built the machine to detect vibranium. Like, holy shit. We were on this story for like 5 minutes. Now we're back to this. Oh, okay. Here we are again. Shit. Where was I? The score wasn't super memorable. Again, one of my favorite pieces of the film, of the score at least, was a revamp of the ancestral plane from the original Black Panther film. Let's see. Okay, production-wise, everything's great. Costume, like the score, from what I remember, was like good but not memorable. Costume design is great as always. I like the new armor and stuff that people wear. Some of the sets were cool. The action was cool. It just never really felt so impactful. Like, usually when you watch an action scene, you want to watch it when you get home. I didn't really feel that way about a lot of the action scenes. Mainly like the last specific action set piece between Shuri and Namor. And I just wish they fought in more interesting places. The last fight of the film, the final conflict of the film, just takes place on a flat platform. There's like not a lot of room for excitement there, really. It's just people in a circle fighting. I really wish there was more interesting set pieces like that. But there are some cool action scenes in the film. I just wish that was a little more interesting. And I don't want to sound like a dick saying this. I might, but I just felt that a lot of the scenes about the grieving of T'Challa, which is basically grieving over Chadwick, I didn't feel they were super strong. I didn't feel that impact that I'm sure a lot of other people felt. I just didn't feel it personally, and I wish I felt that way. Like, most of the time, it was just me just going, yep, sucks he's not here. It does. It really sucks that he can't be this character anymore because of his passing. But I just wish a lot of those scenes, and they're so spread out too, and it doesn't really feel like it's the central focus of the film. It's just, oh, we got to remind everyone that T'Challa's dead again, and it's sad, and it is sad, but it just never felt super impactful to me. Also, there's a moment in the film where a character makes a choice not to kill a specific person. And I fucking hate when movies do that, because why go through all this conflict and struggle? I understand what it's going for, but like, logically, why would you do that? But anyways, I still enjoyed Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It's the end of Phase 4, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the last film, I believe, in Phase 4. It is one of the better Phase 4 films. It's enjoyable. Acting's good. You can really feel how they feel about Chadwick, because them mourning T'Challa is basically them mourning Chadwick. And I understand it was an almost seemingly impossible task to pull off. It's just that I wish I felt a little more impact on it. But overall, I enjoyed the film. I wanted to watch it again. It looks great too on IMAX. The CG's good. I didn't feel like there were really any bad CG moments. Anything else in my Letterboxd? Oh yeah, the film feels a little too long. It's like a 2 hour and 40 something minute film. How long is it? 162 minutes. Yeah. A lot. I felt a lot could have been cut out or shortened. Mainly the Agent Ross stuff about, oh, the states are gonna attack Wakanda if you don't tell them what happened. Yeah. But overall, I did enjoy the film. I keep saying overall. It's just, it was good. Definitely one of the better Phase 4 films. I'm giving Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'll give it a B. On my letterbox, I give it a B plus. Nah, I'm okay with the B plus. I still really enjoyed the film overall. Yeah, I think I'm good with that grade. A B plus for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Okay, let's talk about Tar. Tar is directed by Todd Field, and this is another long film. This is a 2 hour and 38 minute film, but I did enjoy most of it. I really enjoyed a lot about this film. More specifically, I enjoyed Cate Blanchett's performance. I think she's electric. She is stunning. She gives so much of herself to this role. And at some points, it feels like it's almost dangerous. As if like, oh, that probably didn't belong there. But no, everything she does in this film is just phenomenal. Let me tell the plot real quick. It's kind of hard to pinpoint this plot. She plays, what's her character's name? Lydia Tarr. And she's like one of the most successful composers, like living composers in the film's universe. And she's working on a specific piece that will complete something. But then she sees a new student or a new person to play in her, I don't want to call it band, in her group. And there's issues with that. And then other issues start coming up about her past. Which at points, it just seems like it pops out of nowhere. With not a lot of, like, it's set up at a specific point, but I didn't know what the hell was happening. I was like, who are they talking about? What's going on? Why do you want her to delete emails from this person? I don't know. That becomes more of a bigger plot point later on in the film. I just didn't think it was super well set up. But the two biggest standouts in this film are Blanchett's performance and Field's direction. This is the first film I've seen by Todd Field. He hasn't directed a film in like over a decade, I believe. But holy shit. He directed the hell out of this film. The framing is beautiful. Shot compositions are beautiful. The way the camera moves is beautiful. And more specifically in Wonders, there's a specific scene, which is my favorite part of the film, where I believe it's like I'd say 5 to 7 minute scene of a lecture she's giving. And they're discussing something that becomes more important later on in the film. Once specific things get revealed, you look back at that scene and go, oh shit, okay. Maybe you're not such a good person, Lydia Tarr. Yeah. And even the framing in this Wonder is beautiful. There's moments where someone's in the foreground, someone's in the background, and what they're talking about just relates to that frame. I go, holy shit. And the fact that they were able to pull this off in one take, I'm pretty sure they've done this dozens and dozens of times, but wow, it was stunning. What else in my letterbox do I want to say about it? It is a long film, and at points I kind of almost wanted to check out. Not like leave, but like I'm not super interested in this right. I'm not super interested in this right now. Yeah. The scenes where the music's being played is great. Yeah, it's just I don't want to read my letterbox review. I just want to say what I feel about the film, and I thought it was great. It looks great. It sounds great. Blanchett gives a stunning performance, and she's in talks about getting the Oscar nomination for Best Actress. And if so, then give it to her. Yeah, she was phenomenal. Just I had minor complaints about the film, mainly the pacing, and mainly the pacing. Yeah, the pacing was probably one of the only issues I had about the film. and how certain things just don't seem to make sense at first. Not like, oh, you're not smart enough to get it. More so like, I wish it was set up a little better. But overall, I thought this film was great. I highly encourage watching it. It's not for everybody, but I'm sure people get a kick out of it. Also, another thing, just like how I had an issue with Triangle of Sadness's ending, this film ends in a very, 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 very strange way. Not like it ruins the film, more so just like the last shot. And I remember in the beginning of the film, like the credits play in the beginning of the film, and it says, thanks to Monster Hunter World or something like, the fuck? And then end of the film happens to go, oh. I mean, you don't get that watching the film. They don't say it's Monster Hunter World, but when the ending happens, I go, oh, okay, this is what she's doing. Okay. I get what it was going for, but I think it was just like the shot that it ended on. And I totally understand what the film was going for, and I get the message, I get the theme, and I get how it relates to other conversations that were happening earlier on in the film. It's just that, oh, okay, like this shot and these words being said. Okay. But overall, I thought the film was great. I really enjoyed it. I'll give it an A-. It was just stunning, beautiful. I really, really loved it. Go check out Tar. It's one of my favorites of the year, I believe. Okay, we got 2 more films to talk about here. We got The Menu, directed by Mark Mylod, which I thought was directed by Adam McKay, which why I was kind of worried a little because I did not like Don't Look Up. But the film is about characters who go to this highly exquisite fine dining restaurant with a lot of complicated themes. But it takes a sinister twist. And people are going to probably die. That's what I'll say about the plot of the film because there's a lot to unravel in it. But what I'll say is that I really, really dug this movie. I thought it was great. I laughed quite a bit. And it's about food. You know, any movie about cooking food, I'm bound to enjoy. Chef. I love Chef. There really isn't a super whole lot for me to say about this, though. Like, I'd rather you go check it out and watch it. I've talked about this with friends at work, but everyone who I've talked to about, except one person, all really enjoyed it. All for the same reasons, really. I think it's directed well. It's acted well. Anya Taylor-Joy is great in the film. Also, Ralph Fiennes, I believe that's how to say his name. A bunch of friends and I were trying to figure out how to say it correctly. Fiennes, whatever. He's also great in the film, too. Him and Anya Taylor-Joy are like the standouts of the film. They both give off great performances. With Ralph Fiennes' character, who is the chef of the film, there's a lot of layers to him. But, let's see. My favorite parts of the film are the cooking scenes and the scenes showing off the food. I just think they're really well done. I love how they look. Shit. There really isn't so much for me to say on the film, as in like, oh, it does this spectacularly, or oh, it does this horribly. There just wasn't a whole lot for me to say what I didn't like about the film, but there isn't a whole lot for me to say that it's a masterpiece. I just found it really enjoyable. I'm just going through my Letterboxd review when I watched the film initially to see if there's anything I enjoyed about it that I can say right now. Okay, yeah. There's themes about art in the film and how someone expresses that art. And much like the Banshees of Inisherin, there is a scene that I connected to personally that almost made me tear up a little. That did make me tear up a little because it's about cooking. And the chef character's cooking something and he's enjoying it and he has a smile on his face. And in the specific moment, it's not like he's cooking something regular like for the people who are eating. He's cooking something very specifically. And you can see how he really enjoys it. And I connected with that because I like to cook barbecue. And I enjoy the process of it. And I enjoy when people eat said barbecue and enjoy it. I went to a Christmas party a couple days ago, and I said I want to bring ribs because I haven't had a chance to cook ribs in my situation for a while, and always talk about how my barbecue is good. And so when I brought my barbecue over, people were telling me how much they really enjoyed it. They enjoyed the seasoning, they enjoyed the meat, and it made me feel happy because I haven't cooked in a while, and I know it was just like that in the movie. It was basically just like that in the movie, where this character, he cooked something, he enjoyed cooking it, not for like the pretentious of it, just for himself. And I really connected with that because I like cooking for someone and said person enjoying it immensely, you know, no matter how simple it is. Okay, that's really all I'm going to say about the menu. It looks good. The best sequences are the food sequences. It's pretty funny at times. I just wish it felt a little faster, but overall I really enjoyed it. I'll give it a B+. It was just damn enjoyable. That's all I'll say it is. All right, and the last film I'll talk about is a Christmas film, Violent Night, which is directed by Tommy Wirkola. Have I seen any of these other films from this guy? I have not, no. Anyways, this film is about Santa Claus who is losing his Christmas spirit. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's a drunk. And this family with a rich grandma asshole person. And the family stuff doesn't really matter in the film. What matters is you want to see Santa Claus kick the shit out of people. Because the trailer showed Santa Claus beating a bunch of people up. Because they're all bad guys. And John Luiga's